Brenton, obviously you're in a good position injury-wise. Richie Douglas played some good footy, got plenty of guys in the SANFL. I know we're a day ahead of selection, but likely to see some changes. Do you feel like you need to do that?
It's a tricky one, yeah. I mean, we'll have a look at Collingwood this afternoon as well and just see where there might be opportunities that we can stretch them. But at the same time, you're right, we've got some players playing well in the SANFL coming back from injury. Great to see Vince come in last week and kick 3 goals and have a great game after missing 3 weeks with a broken hand. So we're starting to get guys back, and the guys who were in are playing well. So yeah, selection's been very difficult.
Is McKay okay?
He should be fine. Yeah, he trained today and got through the session without too much trouble. So we'll leave him till Friday for a final run. But I don't think there'll be an issue with DMAC.
So just a bit of soreness, really.
Yeah, copped a nasty corky in his hip, but normally after 48 hours you can shake them off pretty well. So he should be fine.
The guys that don't play this weekend in your AFL team, obviously the WASA state game.
Yep. What
are you going to do with the guys who may need another little bit of a hit out, or just give them a rest completely?
No, we'll have a match simulation drill for those guys. It'll probably be between 18, 20 of those guys who won't have any football this weekend. So we'll simulate a match for them on Friday morning and then give those players the weekend off. So a chance to freshen up, but we'll give them a nice little hit out on Friday.
So you're okay with that scenario this weekend?
It's unavoidable really for us, but it's not the perfect system or the perfect solution for us. But we'll keep all our boys together, and it's an opportunity for a few of the boys, the younger boys from interstate, to head home for the weekend, and the rest of the guys can just catch their breath and get on with a good second half of the year.
I guess another small disadvantage to the old age story about the reserve team.
Yeah, I mean we'll do our best to get around it, but at the same time it's not a perfect world for us. We'll do our best to simulate a match for those players with the distance travelled and speed and agility and those sort of things. But I think most of the guys, particularly the younger ones, it's a good chance just to have a bit of a breather.
So just among themselves,
Yeah, we'll have a session here early on Friday morning.
Brenton, it's been well documented the relationship you've got with Nathan Buckley, obviously a good mate.
Yep.
Will you catch up with him? He said that you probably would have a coffee before the game.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because obviously it's going to be a cracking match. I mean, Adelaide versus Collingwood at AAMI Stadium will be a fantastic match, and I mean, if I was a spectator, I couldn't wait for this game. This is going to be an absolute belter, and then I guess for me, yeah, taking on my best mate in the other opposition coach's box is a small story in the bigger picture, but yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it. I know Nathan is too, and we're both young in our coaching careers, and hopefully it's the first of many games we take on each other.
But you just park the friendship?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, it's certainly Collingwood versus Adelaide, you know. It's not Nathan versus Brenton, but yeah, there might be some bragging rights until we play them again, but yeah, I think once the ball's bounced, it'll be all systems go.
You said that clearly that you guys are the informed team of the competition. You think you're the best team of the comp at the moment. You know him well. Is that mind games, or do you think he really believes that?
There's a little bit of mind games in that. I mean, the Pies aren't going too bad either. You know, they're only 1 game behind us, and you have to give them some credit because they've had a lot of injuries this season, and not only that, obviously new senior coach as well, but also to a lot of new assistants. So they've had almost a fresh start with their whole coaching team, and with the injuries that they've had to some key personnel, and to be playing how they're playing, yeah, they certainly deserve some credit too. And there might be a few little mind games there being played, but I'll say it again, it's going to be a cracking game on Saturday night.
And another couple of key personnel coming out of Friday night's game for Collingwood with Swan and Reid losing both them. How much of an advantage does that give you guys, especially up forward? How you mentioned that you could look to stretch them down there.
Oh yeah, they've still got some quality in their side though. You know, I know they're missing, Swan and, for example, Ball out of their starting midfield, but the guys they bring in, Sidebottom and Beams, Blair, are all in good form, and Thomas is back now as well. So they're still going to be really difficult to beat, and we'll have to be at our best if we're going to get the result.
Do you take anything out of the NAB Cup win that you had over them, and obviously over Nathan too?
A little bit, I think, because some of our young guys got experience on some of their better players. So it's a chance with the NAB Cup just to get a bit of a feel for what the opposition do individually. When you get certain matchups, but. We were really up and about at that time of the year, and we'd been training for 4 weeks longer than what Collingwood had, and they had a few guys out in that game too, and we were almost full strength. So yeah, it's nice for a bit of a confidence boost for our boys leading into that. But at the same time, you know, in season's much different to the NAB Cup.
Are you proving that the NAB Cup actually means something?
I think it does. Yeah, I mean, you can't flirt with your form. You've got to, every time you turn up, you put on the Crows jumper. You're expected to play at a certain level, and we're seeing that from the first round of NAB Cup through till now. I mean, no one's taking their spot in the side for granted. Getting a really even contribution from the 22 that play, and the players that miss out and then come back in are just stepping right into that, I guess, expectations that are required of every Crows player.
Brenton, do you think Richard Douglas did enough last week, or would you like to see him run around in the SANFL final?
Yeah, we'll discuss that a bit later in the week, but you know, he was great for us earlier in the season. He's missed a fair bit of footy, but at the same time, his work in the rehab and obviously kicking 4 goals for Glenelg puts him right in the mix this week.
There's been a few people in the media compare this current Crows side to the one in '97. Obviously, new coach coming from a long way back the year before. What do you say to those sort of comparisons?
It's a different season. It's a different team. I know there's a lot of romance involved in reflecting on, you know, comparing teams or squads to different eras and stuff, but we've just got to get on with business here, you know, and this is a new group. They're a really determined young group, though, which I'm really enjoying watching them play, like our supporters are as well, because they just keep surprising you. Every week they turn up and they seem to be harder at the contest, and they seem to be even more ferocious at the ball carrier and stuff. So they're a really unique group, and I'm sure they want to make their own statement this season.
And there's an interesting twist on it from the comparison side of it, in that you played here for Geelong that night in '97 when you lost that narrow final. Yeah, that
wasn't a great memories for Geelong fans and players that night, because yeah, obviously we lost and Adelaide went on to win the flag. So that's a long time ago, though.
What do you notice it's different about Collingwood under Buckley compared to Malthouse so far this year?
There's not major differences. Like, you can't say, oh, they're definitely doing this different to what they did under the Malthouse coaching. But yeah, we had a bit of a look at them as a coaching group and the players this morning, and they're certainly playing some good footy. We're going to be at our best to beat them.
Brennan, very best sides don't lose at home too often. In AFL World Sport, as you know, being a Yankees fan and other great teams. How important, Adelaide's lost that stigma of being almost unbeatable at home. Is that another major part of your development as a footy club to make it a fortress again? Yeah,
I think so. Certainly when I first got the job, even in the first few weeks of pre-season, the players are the ones that drove that. We just don't want to lose at home, and every time an opposition team comes here, they find it really hard, especially with our 19th man, you know, with the crowd getting right behind us. Every home game we've had this year, there's been enormous support for our boys, and there seems to be a great energy amongst the crowd as well. You know, the players are playing hard, the supporters are getting right behind us, so it'll be a fantastic opportunity again with you know, the Collingwood here on Saturday night to get behind our team.
Is it time you beat Collingwood here? I mean, they've won the last 5 or 6 or 7 here against both you guys. Is it time to win that, Jim?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, any time you play Collingwood, you'd love to get a win, you know. There's something special about betting the Pies. The players feel that, coaches feel that, and I know our fans like beating Collingwood too, so it'll be on Saturday night.
As a player too, obviously you played at the House of Pain, the Subiaco, whatever, not. If you can establish that as a fortress, does it help moving forward? Yeah, it's certainly one of our aims. Every time we play here, we're really difficult to beat. We're not getting ahead of ourselves, but every time we play at AAMI Stadium, it should be a really hard game for the opposition to get over us, and win, lose or draw, we'll play some hard footy.
How have you seen Josh Jenkins since he's come into the side, and did you think he had that goal in him on the weekend when he took a couple of bounces? Yeah, that was a fantastic goal, but if you go back to the marking contest where Matty Wright beat Cruiser in a marking contest, Josh Jenkins doesn't get that goal unless Wright spoils that ball on Henderson and that ball on Cruiser. So we don't like to talk about individuals too much within the group, but there's some fantastic lead-in play that set up that goal for Josh. But he's one that's going to continue to improve, and we really like his raw talent. We'll just keep coaching him, and I'm sure we're going to see Josh improve almost every week. He's certainly got a strong contested mark. Comes natural.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we saw with the left hand, right hand bouncing, you know, with his basketball background, just got natural talent, but it's very raw. We'll just keep working with him, and I'm sure we're going to have a very good player for us long term.
So you lead the AFL Interchange rotations this year. Is that something you brought from Geelong, or what's the key to that?
Oh, it's a little bit about our whole coaching philosophy. We like to keep speed on the game, keep our boys fresh, keep getting from contest to contest. I'm not sure what the jump is from last year to this year, but I know we've gone from sort of bottom of the pack right to the very top, and it is organised chaos there. You know, Matty Clark does a fantastic job of coordinating that on the bench, but we feel like our players are coming on with a real advantage of more speed, more energy. They get a chance to just for a mental break, and sometimes it's only 30 seconds to a minute, but it's just, that's what our game's like now, 120 minutes where the players are really switched on. It's just a chance to catch your breath, grab a drink, get back out with speed. So it's working for us, and we'll certainly maintain that for the rest of the season.
So it's as much mental as physical, the advantage of having a small break?
It is, yeah. Yep. You'll be surprised how much just that little ability to have a little break mentally on the bench, get some reinforcement from the coaches on the bench, you know, Matty Clark on the bench. Quick discussion with sometimes a coach upstairs. You see that our players are on the phone a lot to their line coach. Reset and then back on. So we certainly feel that we're getting an advantage from that.
Have you had any feedback from the players, how they feel about it compared to last year?
Yeah, their GPS numbers. We obviously, each player wears a GPS unit on their back, and we get their results. Their results is their distance isn't as far, but their speed is much higher. So that's obviously from more rotations, but having more energy for that type of work on the ground.
Has any of them sort of told you I'm feeling fresher or I'm feeling faster?
Yeah, we get some varied feedback. I mean, some players prefer to stay on the ground. You find our key forwards and key backs probably spend more time on the ground, which is fine with us. But the midfielders, they do love it, you know, because it's a chance. And they don't. We try and avoid the ones where you run from one wing right. You know, you see players sprint across the ground to get to the other interchange bench, and they're straight back on. It's just more when you get past the gates, duck off, have your 30 seconds, get back on. So we feel that we're getting an advantage doing that.
You were talking about the Josh Jenkins goal before and Matty Wright. Do you think with so much focus on the with Tippett and Walker and Dangerfield and Sloan now,
yep,
does it give the opportunity for guys like that to step up?
Yeah, we sometimes the players that finish with the goal get their external recognition, but internally we recognise the players that create the chain, that are involved in the chain earlier. So we feel that we've been pretty good at that, about acknowledging what creates the goals. And a lot of it's been from some very good defence. So defence is improving. I think we're third in the competition for points against, but that's creating a lot of goals for us as well.
The SANFL sent out a release saying they want to break the AFL record crowd here this weekend. Do you think this situation might enable you to do that? Obviously, you'd love to get a massive crowd there.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get a full house. It's about time, I think. You know, Collingwood Saturday night, perfect time for us. There's only a few tickets left, I know as well. So let's lock the gates. Let's get a big crowd here and make some noise.
How many Australians do you think you've got right now in your squad?
All Australians. Wow. I'm not sure. I haven't even thought about that. And I know our players aren't thinking about that. It's a good question, though. Hopefully we've got a couple.
Brenton, you said at the start of the year you expected a spike from this group. Have you been surprised? I mean, I don't think anyone externally thought 7-1 would be possible.
Yeah, we don't look too we've got the ability. We don't look too far ahead. We knew there'd be some improvement in the group. How big or how quickly it happened has probably surprised a few people. But this group is so good to coach because they're really receptive to new ideas, and they've been fantastic at absorbing new information and a new way of playing, and they're enjoying it. They enjoy winning. The atmosphere around the change rooms is really strong, and they're really helping each other. So yeah, hopefully we can maintain that for the remainder of the season, and particularly the second half of the year.
How highly do you rate yourselves from the inside?
Good question. We haven't really talked about that. You'd be surprised. Our reviews each week are a balance of room for improvement and things that we're doing well. So we like to reward the side for what we've worked on, and we see it happen in a game. But at the same time, it's probably 50-50 the amount of work that we do on room for improvement stuff. So, you know, I was yelling and screaming a little bit today with a few of the things we're trying to work on, and some things still frustrate me, but we are working pretty hard behind the scenes to ensure that we're improving continually.
You're expecting other teams now to sort of unlock you a bit more and try different tactics like tagging and rolling, for example.
Yep.
You seem to be getting greater scrutiny, obviously, because of your results.
Yeah, I think so. If you looked at our numbers, and you know, with the number one contested ball side, the number one clearance side, So sides will start looking about how we're achieving that and the method that we're going about achieving that. So I'm sure we're going to be looked at a little bit more closely.
Is that probably your next challenge to deal with that?
Yep.
Plan B season?
No, definitely. I mean, this week Collingwood and the Crows play very similar style. Their numbers, our numbers are very similar. So in this week, it's obviously almost an opportunity for us to play against ourselves, if that makes sense. You know, try and beat a team that plays similar to us. Collingwood will be doing the same. You know, their contested ball and clearance numbers are very good as well. Two very good sides who will obviously try and break each other down.
Can we expect to see you guys inject a bit more height into your forward line this week? Collingwood short down back, and obviously you've got Walker out. Is there a chance for someone like McKenna to come back inside?
Yeah, there is. Sometimes though you can look too much at the opposition and think we can exploit them here, and you go away from what's working for you. You can sometimes outsmart yourself if you try and do that. We'll pick a side that we think plays best for us, but it'd be foolish as well not to have a look at ways we can exploit Collingwood's setup. But they're a good side. I mean, they lost a couple of good players this week, but the players they bring in will still be very good.